My name is Danny, and I just bought my first ever Audi.
Audi's always on.
It is a supercharged 3.0 liter Audi S5.
And even though it looks this good,
unfortunately, my name is Danny, and I never buy 100% good cars. This one came with one major issue. A year ago, this car, well, it sounded like this. And now it can't even simply move under its own power. But why would I do something so stupid? A little bit ago, my sister sent me this picture. That is young Danny in Cuba, where I'm from, and I lived since I was 9 years old, or from when I was born to 9 years old, and an Audi S4, I think, or A4, I don't know, but I remember this day vividly, like it was yesterday. Now, if you're born in the US or you're part of the free world, it may be really hard for you to understand, but in Cuba, those are not the cars that you see everybody driving around. And 98% of people there can't afford a car like that and will never step in one. And me as a little kid being in that car, which was a rental, my mom's friend and her husband took me out. I forgot exactly where we went, but they rented that car. I remember sitting in that Audi, even sitting in the passenger seat. And just, it was such an amazing moment that, well, I think at heart, guys, even though I always buy BMWs, I might be an Audi guy. Let's get to the fun part of this.
fun part because I've never even worked on an Audi before or driven one. And with the extent of the work we're gonna have to do with no experience, we really have to get off to a positive start.
This very car has over $13,000 in modifications, and you can see everything right here. Some of them include APR coil packs, carbon fiber, cold air intake, APR, bigger throttle body, smaller pulley, bigger pulley, a whole separate cooling system for the supercharger, a full set of $3,200 BBS wheels. I'm sorry. They just got here. They actually just got here. I'm sorry.
A full AWE touring exhaust. Woo, that sounds good. And of course, we can't forget about the tune from APR, putting this car right around 500 horsepower. And the awesome part, it's four-wheel drive, so these launches are gonna be insane.
And one of my favorite parts, we have suede interior. Are you kidding me? This interior from factory is actually insane. Flat bottom, start-stop button, dual clutch transmission. Of course, this is a four-wheel drive, and the coolest Lamborghini key I've ever held. Audi.
Actually, I have two keys. I've never had two keys for a car before.
Got an awesome screen, but unfortunately, battery is dead. Even though we got this car for half of what it's actually worth, we're already down around $300 for our battery. Fire in the hole. And 107,000 miles. But now, let's talk about the bad things.
After driving about 3 hours, I finally arrived at the shop where this car was sitting abandoned right next to, randomly, two Jeeps. And even though it looks absolutely amazing, there's one catastrophic issue.
You said you were just doing pulls and driving, and then it just...
Yeah, like I was just driving normally, and then I got the low oil pressure, and then it just went into limp mode and went to start back over. Then I got it towed here.
Oh, man.
Yup, this car had a mechanical catastrophic failure, basically meaning it needs a new engine. But with how good this car looks and all the modifications it has, even though I've never worked on an Audi in my life or even driven one, I love challenging myself, and this car has so much meaning to me that, hey, what better way to get to know your first Audi than to pull the whole engine out?
Said no one ever.
This car's like brand new, dude.
This car suffered from what is called a PCV failure, which is this very thing that's in front of me. This is the PCV system, very important, and when this fails, like some of these parts crack, oil starts mixing with coolant, and that's just not good. And I did open this up, and I can indeed confirm that's more of a slushy than actual oil. Believe it or not, the hardest part of this whole project is staying organized to make sure I remember where everything goes. Thankfully, today's sponsor, Bambu Lab, and their X1 Carbon 3D printer is making that a lot easier. Bambu Lab is simply the best and most beginner-friendly 3D printer on the market. When it arrived, it was extremely easy to set up, literally 30 minutes max. I'm going to be putting all the specs on the screen, which are absolutely awesome, but even if you do some research, you know that this is the best 3D printer and truly something everybody needs. I had no idea how much I would benefit from a 3D printer until I had one. You guys have seen me print out modifications for the BMW, but we also gotta have a little fun with the printer. So to start off the year, some 2025 glasses. And the quality is just perfect. And even cubbies to stay organized. Keep in mind, all this was printed through my phone. And if you're like me and you don't have the time to sit down, you can literally go on their own Bambu Lab website, and there's hundreds of thousands of things you can 3D print with the click of a button. Let's say for this, I want to print this out, earbud organizer. All I have to do is prepare to print, and then you have to click next, and then you can start to print in minutes. For example, to stay organized, I print out this little cubby, and all these bolts are from the bottom of the car. I know I'm gonna have to scrape out some silicone, so I print out a little scraper in minutes. The coolest part, to really motivate me to get this car running again, I printed out really cool paddle shift extensions, and actually the first modification for this car, which they go right over the stock ones and click on just like that. And look how awesome that looks. Are you kidding me? Again, massive thank you to Bambu Lab for making such a cool product and obviously sponsoring this video and making this all possible. If you guys want to get your own 3D printer or even browse through all their products that they have on their website, I'll be leaving the link in the description. It helps the channel and obviously helps you guys out. Thank you so much, Bambu Lab, and let's get to this nightmare of a video. But before the surgery starts, which is take this engine out and put another one in, let's see if it starts. If this thing starts, I'm gonna be freaking out. What? I'm so confused right now.
I definitely was not expecting this car to start, especially when they told me the compression was so low that it doesn't start. So now I'm really debating on what to do.
You know what I'll bet, Danny? It's also possible that the oil pressure sensor was bad. Yes, I mean, the PCV failed and this and that. And the owner didn't take care of the car, in my opinion. I would obviously put the new engine in because you never know if it had any, internal friction, let's call it that, due to the oil pressure possibly, and of course the improper lubrication.
Yeah, even though I want to do everything but pull an engine right now, he's right. He's right. I'm gonna do things the right way, and I love this Audi. It means a lot to me. Unfortunately, it's not gonna be that easy, but we came prepared. Follow me. What is up, y'all? Welcome to the van.
Another 7.5-hour round trip because we found the engine. And I've been renting this van so much from Home Depot, I think it's time we either get a truck or a van, but we made it to the most random junkyard in the middle of nowhere. But thankfully, they did have my engine, and they brought it over in a very special way. Oh, that's hilarious. And after making sure we secured the engine to the back of the van and drove over 3 hours back, we're home.
Here we have a 3.0 liter supercharged V6 from, well, an Audi S5.
It's powerful, it's reliable, and with just a few mods, you can push this engine/car to over 500 wheel horsepower. But unfortunately, I might have made a mistake by buying this exact engine.
The big issue, it came out of a flooded car. Now, thankfully, I was sent a video of this engine running. And the guy that sold it to me did say the water level wasn't high enough to reach anything important.
Thankfully, we're gonna find out very soon if water got inside of it or not.
After that happened to the previous owner, we're not just gonna throw this pretty much never touched engine back inside the car. We partnered up with FCP EURO and we're doing all of the maintenance possible so this car never has any issues.
We're going to be replacing the PCV system, supercharged intercoolers, all the important gaskets, pipes, pulleys, water pumps, thermostat, but we're also going to be doing
the timing chain. Dun dun dun. Every 100,000 miles, Audis need to do the timing chain. And to do that, on the regular motor, it's in the front. Well, Audi wanted to be different, and the timing chain is actually in the back of the motor. Whew. If you're watching right now, please subscribe and hit that like if you haven't already. And comment, what's that one car you've never driven and never worked on? Because mine, it's an Audi. And I'm gonna remove the engine for the first modification. What? Oh my gosh, here we go. This is so heavy.
Again, massive thank you to FCP EURO for providing everything in this video. They are the go-to spot for high quality parts for your European car. Specifically OEM parts, but also performance. Whether you're fixing, upgrading, or just maintaining your car like I'm doing, hit them up. Link will be in the description to them and all the parts I'm using in this video. They have lifetime warranty, extremely fast shipping, and the best part of all, everything is much cheaper than you would buy at the dealership, and they sell the same parts they do. It's absolutely incredible.
Without you guys, this motor would have blown up again. So I love you. But on a serious note, I don't know where anything goes. And yes, timer has started. Am I gonna be able to do this? I don't know, but let's see how far we can get.
Yeah, let's get started with all the maintenance on this motor. Now, first things we have to do is remove the top supercharger or the blower, because everything we need to change is sitting under it. And it was surprisingly pretty simple. You disconnect the 2 water pipes from the front, which is 6 bolts total, and then there's 6 bolts holding the supercharger down. Disconnect the bracket on the back, and voila.
Okay, I unbolted everything that I could find, and this thing is still not coming out. Oh my, oh wait, I think there's some bolts in the front. Oh, it's moving, it's moving. Woo, this is heavy. Let's go. This looks really bad.
And after removing the supercharger, we noticed right away this was a flooded car. I mean, look at all that corrosion and debris in there. Thankfully, no sign of water, but it sure is dirty.
But that's the PCV, and it's never been replaced. So that's great. Great news. I guess great news, maybe not. Let's keep going. Because I just have to hear this car and how it sounds like a Hellcat. So cool.
This is so disgusting. But now we're quickly moving on to removing the injector brackets. It's only being held on by a couple 10mm and some T40s up top. And yeah, it's kind of worse than I thought, and this might be a whole cleanup session time. And as this is my first time working on an Audi, this is one of many plugs I've already broken. Next up, it's time to remove the fuel line so we can get to the PCV and remove the crusty old thermostat, which is only being held on by a couple Torx bolts. And next up, getting to the PCV, we need to remove this water pipe that goes over it. And man, I wish I didn't have to. This thing felt like it was in there with super glue. Sorry, JB Weld. It simply did not want to come off at all. But after carefully using the vice grips...
Oh my gosh. Let's stinking go. That took forever. Oh, thank God, yes.
And now we can finally remove and replace the catastrophic failure point of this engine, the PCV system.
Oh, let's go. Yes. So I am absolutely no expert, but here we can get a really good look as to what could happen when your PCV system goes bad. There's coolant and then there's oil. Those two mix, you don't do your oil change, and well, you get low oil pressure, and then the car pretty much... And here we have the old PCV compared to the new PCV. Pretty much the same piece, but man, look how much nicer this one looks. Quick update. As you guys know, we recently just dropped more Driven Legends merchandise after like a year of never dropping anything. It's the X5M X340i collab. Cop that if you haven't already. But I do want to say thank you all so much for the support. And I apologize. Orders are taking a little bit longer because, as you know, me and Crystal and I are not shipping things out ourselves. We're using a different supplier. And I made somewhat of a mistake. And that's why orders are taking forever. So you will get your order, but I'm sorry that this little mistake is happening. It won't happen again. Again, thank you so much. I love you guys. It is that time once again. The best part of these videos is filling up this beautiful wall from the countries you guys are from. And today we're adding 5 right there. Here are the new flags we put up. Okay, we really are running out of space, y'all. But this looks so sick. Also, they're holding up great, but I might need to find a new way to put them up.
First big maintenance item, done. And now that it's out of the way, we can really clean this engine, which is knee deep in sand. Are you kidding me? Look at this. Another little maintenance item we're doing, the injector O-rings. It's simple and didn't take too long, but right above that, the intake manifold partitions, and look how full of carbon they are. That is supposed to look like this. So over here, let's clean them up a bit.
What in the world are these things? Look at this. What? That makes no sense. It's not these. Definitely not this. Not this. Akita, do you know what it is? After some research, it is called a triple square spline.
A triple square spline. Triple square spline. Triple square spline.
I don't even know what to say to that. Let's take this thing off.
Such a big brain fart. I completely forgot I was working on a Lambo. But thankfully, we received this water pipe because I thought it looked really new, and when I got up close, it's actually cracked right where the cylinder head sits.
Also, just look how difficult it is to get to everything in here. Oh my Audi. Audi, what are you doing? Audi!
Huh?
And look how crusty that water pump looks. Thankfully, FCP EURO sent us out a brand new one, and look how much better that looks. I love doing all these maintenance items on a car.
Gotta start off on Audi's good side. We're gonna torque this down. Boom. Onto the valve cover gaskets. Oh, I think I just snapped something.
Yes, you just saw me break 3 clips back to back to back. Who's doing it? No one's doing it like me. We're just different out here. Honestly, I really don't know how to work on an Audi.
Oh boy. I was taking out the cold packs as you guys saw, and on the very last, I'm not sure what cylinder that is, probably 5 or so, I see water.
Thankfully, it's above the spark plug, and who knows, maybe when they were seeing if the motor was actually flooded before selling it, a little bit of rainwater got into it because it was raining that day.
And the great news, the spark plugs where it makes spark was not wet, so we should be okay. We are a-okay.
Oh man, now I can breathe. We didn't mess up on buying this motor. It wasn't flooded, and it really runs perfectly. We did not get scammed. And everything under the valve cover looks perfect. Except for the gasket. This thing is crusty. Thank God we're changing them out. Now we go back in with a new PCV.
Time to do the whole timing. I'm talking about timing chain, guide, everything. And we do have everything timing that we need thanks to FCP EURO. Like I said, they pretty much provided everything, and they even provided someone that works on Audis all the time. Kiefer. No. Okay, folks, so we're already off to a weird start. I forgot to drain the oil before I started this. Oil looks good, y'all. No water. That looks really good.
Dude, that thing's gonna get full.
gonna get full.
Oh shoot, it's getting full. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
Plug it, yeah, plug it.
Plug it and transfer.
Plug it again.
This is bad. I can't find the hole. Dude, why are oil changes so difficult on this car?
So what do I mean by the timing chain service? High mileage Audis are notoriously known for having timing chain issues due to timing chain guides cracking or breaking, or the tensioners just not holding tension how they should be. This could allow the timing chain to skip a tooth, the car has incorrect timing, and then catastrophic failure. But this is very tedious work we need to be extremely careful with. If we miss the timing by even a tooth when we start the car for the first time, I'm gonna wish I had never bought an Audi.
Oh, look, that's broken right there. Look at that. Broken guide.
Wow.
This one is snapped off. And over here, this is really bad too. That one's also snapped. So thank God we're doing this, because that could have been really, really bad.
Look at that. That was about to blow.
Sheesh. Dodged the bullet. Thing's brittle. Look how much it was hitting here. That's insane. Wow. That's the timing chain hitting. That's the timing chain not hitting.
Wow, so the timing chain issue isn't a myth. So this engine was basically a ticking time bomb. And if you're wondering why I'm not taking it to the dealership and doing it myself,
Which vehicle do you drive?
So I have a 2013 Audi S5. And I'm just calling just to see how much it would be to do the whole timing chain job.
I'm just gonna have to gather some information from you.
Okay.
And have them give you a call back with that quote.
Okay.
What would be your first and last name?
unfortunately, we weren't able to get a quote because they would need me to drive the car to the dealership and get it diagnosed, which doesn't make much sense. But I didn't want to give up because I want to know exactly how much money I'm saving by going through the pain of doing this myself. And after browsing countless of forums, I found someone that got a quote. $15,000.
Are you kidding me? We're doing this timing chain ourselves. I've never done it, but we're doing it.
But first things we have to do is remove the whole backing plate so we can really access the whole timing chain system.
This thing looks like it's gonna come out. Here we go. So I'm gonna hammer a little bit more. By the way, this is what Audi executives and mechanics do. Audi techs.
What's this?
Oh, I forgot a bolt. Oh, go on. Yes. Here we go, y'all. Yes. We did it.
Piece right here.
Oh, look, the timing chain is falling apart.
Wow, that looks intimidating. And we need to be fully focused. Unfortunately, the team is just falling apart.
Akira. Now, to do the timing, you need very special tools. Audi sells it for $350, but I picked a set from Amazon for $80, and I'm hoping this is gonna help us and actually do the job.
Step 1, we need to rotate the engine so the sprockets fall into the timing window and we can mark it.
Dude, I think this is already marked. Okay, keep going. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, stop right there. Because look, there's a mark right here on this. There's a mark right here. It's not fully where it needs to be, though. But then again, I don't know if that's the marker for this. And here's the little... Oh, there's no hole, though.
So I don't think I stopped there yet, so I have to go one more hole.
I'm afraid there isn't a hole here, though. There's a plus mark. That looks in the middle. This, I mean, if we're going by the cross, that's in the middle.
Step 2, we need to lock the crank with this special bolt so nothing moves when we're tightening, untightening, and just working with everything. As well as lock both camshafts. Now that the timing is locked, we can fully remove everything, and then when we put everything back into place, the timing should stay where it was when we removed everything.
Now there really is no turning back. No. All right, remember you do that way then.
Yep.
Oh. Money.
After loosening the sprockets, now we can throw in this timing pin. It'll remove the tension so we can start removing the chains and all that fun stuff. Now it's really time to start taking everything apart. But of course, I took a bunch of videos because I can't remember anything that I'm doing right now.
Someone thought it was funny to put a little spring in the middle. Okay, so I think that's lined up. Pin out. Oh shoot!
During this work, there was a lot of little details we needed to remember. For example, the balancer shaft. Before loosening it, we needed to put a pin through the engine so it didn't move. And when tightening it, the bolts couldn't be on the edge. We needed to give it millimeters of clearance in case it needed to move.
Okay, we've been going absolutely nuts, y'all, because we pretty much get everything together, but now's the important part, and we have an issue. So, here's our line, and this is our timing window. This little groove is supposed to sit right in here, and it's not. So, we've been worried for like the last hour on what to do, but massive thank you to Need for Built. He said we're gonna move it back a tooth. It should sit still inside of the timing window, but when we're torquing it down and everything, it should sit perfectly on the weight. So I think we're okay, Kiefer. I think we're
Only one way
okay.
to find out.
Let's go. Whoa! Yo!
That's 90? That wasn't bad.
Those 90-degree turns were killer, but at last, we did it. We finished the timing chain job that Audi would have quoted us thousands and thousands of dollars to do. Round of applause for the fam. And after spinning the engine a bunch of times by hand, everything felt really good. So even though we're only gonna know if we did the job correctly when we put the motor in and start the car, as of now, I feel pretty good.
Oh my gosh. I just want to drive this car. I really just do. Engine is done. And now for engine number 2. I feel like this is where we're just getting started. But man, I can't get over how good Audis look. Look at that front end. Just simply insane. Okay, I think first things first, we take out this cover from bumper. We're looking at an Audi. What even is life right now? I'm so confused, but it is so sick. I think you push that down and then this comes up. Is that how this works? Oh, it is. Audi certified. Oh, here we go.
We also found another modification that's worth $1,000. And it is the AWE cold front, which, like I previously mentioned, completely separates the cooling system with a supercharger.
Oh, look at that. If you're wondering how long that took me, I would say 8.5 to 9 minutes to fully remove an Audi S5 front bumper. But overall time, we're at 10 hours and 30 minutes left to pull this motor and try to complete the challenge that I set for myself.
Even though I'm not so sure if that's possible, we gotta keep going and continuing with taking out the whole front end of the car. Headlights, core support, radiators, everything. First worked on taking out the whole cold front, which thankfully didn't have any coolant, and then we quickly moved on to taking out the headlights. But before we get to the cold support, we have to remove the front bash bar, which thankfully is just a couple bolts on each side and it comes right off.
I've never had to finagle off a crash bar. It usually slips right on and off. I'm pretty sure you had to take out the radiator, but thankfully I was able to go around it. Let's go. And one thing I'm doing, since I don't really know where anything goes, I'm putting back all the hardware exactly where I found it because I don't want to lose any of this. I really don't. Is this what Audi ownership looks like? Like you buy the car and then you gotta remove the engine to be able to drive it and enjoy it? Probably not, right? But honestly, this is definitely making me closer to the car, and I feel like there's a connection going on here. There really is.
And that may seem like it didn't take long, but as a first-time Audi guy, that took forever. And by the way, this intake system is around $800. And that's not including the bigger 80mm throttle body, which is $900. We can definitely see the previous owner put a lot of time and money into this car with quality parts. But in reality, it's an Audi and it just keeps getting weirder.
To disconnect the AC line, you have to take out the header. It's literally hitting the header. What? Are you kidding me?
Okay, we didn't need to disconnect the header, but the fact that it's such a tight fit, it's ridiculous. And talking about tight fit, there was no room to get the hoses from the back of the engine out.
Come on, dude.
Yes. Haha. Let's go.
Oh,
Nice.
this is upgraded.
Yeah? Oh, shoot. That's definitely aftermarket. And that brace is also $500. And when looking at things from the bottom of the car, it sure got scary. There's so much going on. To disconnect the headers from the exhaust, it was a pain. We had to get some bolts from the top of the car. 3, 2, 1. And after quickly looking up some videos online and reading the forums, we quickly noticed a pattern I'm simply not used to. Every single time I've removed an engine, I usually take it out from the top of the car with the transmission. Well, every time someone with an Audi removes an engine, they drop the whole drivetrain with the subframe. Something I've simply never done before. Even though I did not see this coming, now I think I know why. This car is a 4-wheel drive. That means less space and so many more components to disconnect if we just wanted to remove the engine by itself from the top. And then having to align everything putting it back is just going to be a massive issue. So after discussing it for a very long time, even though I don't think it's possible because I have such limited space and limited tools, we're gonna go for it and try to drop the whole drivetrain. Never done this before. I'm really nervous, but it's fun. It's something we've never done before, so
That's how the dealership does it. So
yeah, we're
everybody says
Audi
it's,
certified.
everybody
If you
says
work
it's
on an
easy.
Audi for a living, you are not human. I don't know what's wrong with you. Get a BMW. And first things we have to do is loosen up the torque converter, because we're planning on buying a bench for everything to sit on, and we simply won't be able to reach the bolts.
This is very tight in here.
So right now I'm taking out the strut. I really want to drive this car. I want to hear the whine. I want to feel an Audi 4-wheel drive launch. So we're doing it, and it's nerve-wracking, but I think we're gonna be okay. And that's generous. I actually don't think we're gonna be okay. But next dilemma. So our plan was to leave the brake caliper on here hanged up somewhere, and then we would just drop everything, right? Well, we can't do that because, as you're seeing, the brake line goes in between this wishbone and the suspension, and it goes right into here. So we can't really leave it there because when everything goes down, it's gonna want to take the brake caliper with it. So now it's either we take these two off, which are a pain to put back, or but that does it for today. But it's the start of a new day. Let's go. Time to go buy a table because this is going to be very important when dropping everything. Unfortunately, the only one they had is 500 pounds. All the components we're dropping is around 900 pounds. Already off to a sketchy start. Thankfully, since we're dropping everything, there isn't a whole lot left to disconnect. Just the 8 subframe bolts. If I said I wasn't nervous, I would be lying. So I got the bed on, I got a transmission jack all the way in the back. Everything's pretty much disconnected, at least to the extent that I can remember at this point. So I'll be doing this by myself. It is not ideal that I'm doing this by myself, but I think we're gonna be okay. Pretty much all that's left is disconnecting all the subframe bolts. There's 3 on this side, and that is one of them right there. And that is number 2 right there. And then there's 2 more in the back, so it's 8 total. I'm very slowly lowering everything down. But I was just thinking, how am I gonna be scared when we got Jesus by our side? We're good. We're good. Please. But unfortunately, I did notice the table started giving out. Not because it wasn't holding the weight, but because it wasn't able to jack it up. Thankfully, I do have a crane. So now we have a crane, a table, and a transmission jack. I feel a lot better, and I think we got this. Oh, and we also got Papa Z trying to help out. And just like that, I kept going around the car, loosening the bolts little by little, lowering the transmission jack, the bed, and the crane. All very slowly to make sure we don't mess anything up. Last thing I want to do is rip a connector, rip a brake line, or break any water hoses. By the grace of God, hours later,
anything is possible. The full subframe and engine is officially as low as it goes and no longer on the car. I mean, have you ever seen anything cooler than this? This is hands down the coolest thing I've ever done. Look at how insane this mess looks. Obviously the suspension is just wobbly. There we have the transfer case, the transmission, the downpipes. This is crazy. And if we go over here, there we can see the transmission, the whole back of the engine, everything.
I really had no idea we would have to be doing all of this right when I bought the car. But I can truly say it was all worth it. This is hands down the coolest thing I've ever done. Dropping the whole drivetrain of the car, in possibly the sketchiest way possible, is something I'm never gonna forget.
Now we gotta pull everything out, but there's a lot of finagling that has to be done to do that, so we gotta go find somebody.
If you haven't already, all this truly deserves a big thumbs up. And don't forget, subscribe. It helps the channel so much, and we're almost at 300,000.
Thankfully, everything came out like a glove. All I had to do was lower the rear jack stand that's on the transmission, and it lowered even more. And this looks just even more insane out of the car. I mean, look at this whole drivetrain. Like, I would normally be sitting here, literally right here, just...
This is not like Tetris. Right? It'd be like Tetris, but I don't even know where you start.
All this transmission, engine, subframe, suspension.
I'm noting this. I'm writing this down. But this is only like a one-time thing, right? You don't have to do this again, right?
I'm praying that I don't. To be honest, I'm praying that I don't.
Okay.
So. What are you writing now, or?
Right now I have nothing. I'm just waiting to get rid of this before I get something else.
You're gonna get another Audi?
No, I'll probably get like a 345i.
Oh, we're going to BMW? See, the reason I'm getting an Audi is because I've been going too crazy with BMWs,
Yeah,
and I should stop. I really need to stop. So.
Big BMW guy over here. You're gonna have fun.
They are awesome. BMWs are awesome, dude. Yeah. All right, let me get the money.